Mali, Egypt, Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, Cameroon, Senegal, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Zambia, Morocco, Benin, Nigeria, and the list goes on, of where he has gone and met with the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs. So our meetups, as we call them, at that local level, facilitated by the local networks, is being structured. We've done that over the last 2 years, and we will continue to do that and work with our network. I've talked about the hub. Here are some of the things that you will be able to access on the hub. We will have 2,000 business profiles of all the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs. It's one of the things that an entrepreneur needs is access to marketplace, right? And also being able to market their products and services to each other. The hub is where you're going to be able to do it. Before you get your seed capital this year, you have to complete your business profile on the entrepreneurship hub, on the Tony Elumelu Foundation hub. Without that, you will not get seed capital, okay? I promise you. You know why I say that? Because, people take the seed capital and say bye-bye, thank you. And then we occasionally hear, or I run into them, like I ran into some of them in America, the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. He said, how the hell did you get here? And they said, oh, we applied. And we got selected. And I said, what? There was severe competition. How do you think you got selected? They said, you know what? We think we benefited from the Tony Elumelu Foundation's program, right? Well, please tell us that you applied. Please tell us you got accepted, all expense paid, to go from wherever you are in Africa. There was an Egyptian entrepreneur, they were from all over. 15 of the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs got selected to go to GES, all expenses paid. And every single one of them will tell you that it is because of the training, because of the skills, because of the networks that they build, yeah? Because they are able to now pitch themselves as a serious business, that they were able to compete on that global platform and get selected. So your business profiles, remember, I've used the word investable pipeline. You are investable pipeline. People out there are looking for you in order for them to be able to select and invest in future, to invest in enterprises. And you have to make your business profile visible on our platform. So every single one of you have to complete that business profile. You will have access to partnership directory. We are inundated. The foundation is so successful. We're being inundated with calls from people who want to partner with us. Those partners are going to be driven to the TEF hub. You want to access those partners, you have to be on that hub. We will have, in addition to the mentors you will get through your training, but we are building a database of mentors that you can directly access. So many people that we meet as we travel around the world want to mentor you, the entrepreneurs. We will have a database of those. Everybody tells me money, money, money. My challenge is money. It's not. Your challenge is how you present yourself, how you present your business. And we're going to put on our hub a guide to financing. And there is, as I said, no shortage of money. It's your ability to find the right funding source and develop the right proposition to meet that. We're building through this a Pan-African marketplace. This hub will have all the resources. As entrepreneurs, you need access to research reports. You need facts, you need statistics, you need information. The hub will have that in terms of as a resource library. The hub will also promote your success stories. Have I got to finish soon? Oh, okay. No, listen, you guys, you're here all day, right? Okay, the African diaspora. How many of you are from here who are in the African diaspora but have their businesses located here? Oh, nobody. But we do have applications from people who are, oh, you are, okay, African diaspora. So let me tell you the importance of African diaspora. And we are going to build a directory of the networks that exist in terms of the African diaspora. In the US, Europe, where Africans are all over, by the way. They're in India now, they're in China. We're going to build a network, consolidate, aggregate that information on the hub. They are vital. The diaspora is vital to the success of the African entrepreneurs. Nigeria receives $62 billion in remittance from the US. And those are remittance, you know the 3Fs, family, fools, and friends? Well, those are the 3Fs that first you go to get your business going. And those family and those fools and those friends are usually either from the diaspora or they are local. India, my own country, receives $12 billion from the UAE alone. I was amazed. I always thought it was the UK remittance, but 12 billion. Another 20 billion from the US and Saudi Arabia. Remittance and the power of the diaspora is not to be underestimated. And in order for you to access those networks, so we want to give the diaspora networks a place on our platform, and for you to be able to engage with those networks. So as I keep saying, we are building an investable pipeline, which is then made attracted to all of those platforms. Please abandon your Facebook and your WhatsApp chats and come on this platform for useful, where you can have useful discussion. Where you can really learn from each other, where you can really have that peer-to-peer exchange and knowledge exchange, right? Calendar of events. We want you to be telling us, we're doing this, we're organizing this, you should come to this, so that others across Africa should be able to see, my God, there's a big thing happening in Morocco. Let's see if we can go and support our entrepreneur there. Webinars, we have found, are the fantastic ways of communicating with each other. They are actually quite cheap, particularly with the ICT entrepreneurs amongst us. Okay, that is to die for access, and that is what our partners are looking for. We have the convening power and the ability to bring together the public, the private, and third sector stakeholders around entrepreneurship on a local, regional, and a global platform. And we've achieved this in just 2 years, guys. And that is an amazing, amazing feat. Increasingly, thank you. But increasingly, we also have a global presence and global recognition as leaders in in the African entrepreneurship space. These are the reasons why people want to partner with us. And we're also establishing, and particularly, and obviously Mr. Elumelu, establishing ourselves as thought leaders and as a credible partner in research and advocacy, and I'll touch on that very quickly. We have access to funding networks. You want to have access to funding. Every VC, private equity, angel, bank, you name it, anybody who's got money and are looking to invest in entrepreneurship are coming to the foundation. You want to have access to that, you have to join the foundation. So far, we've signed at least four very significant strategic partnerships. The Ministry of Entrepreneurship in Côte d'Ivoire, the minister was so blown away last year by the program that he's decided he wants to replicate that program in CDI for entrepreneurs across Côte d'Ivoire. So we have a format that is traveling and can be and is being replicated in one country, and I'm sure the trend will follow. We've signed, and we've also, in discussion with the International Trade Center, an institution based in Geneva, wanting to support women entrepreneurs. We are supporting their endeavor and directing a lot of our women entrepreneurs to their platform. The Ministry of Information is challenged by the fact that Nigeria has creative industries but no creative economy. And we've partnered to help them develop a framework to really turn Nigeria's creative industries into a creative economy. ECOWAS is another. We're in discussion with the Africa Development Bank. Who doesn't know Africa Development Bank? And it's 5 highs. It's amazing. It's really, Africa Development Bank. Go research the Africa Development Bank. They want to create 25 million jobs across Africa. The Tony Elumelu Foundation is going to be one of the partners that will support them in that endeavor. Is someone here from Microsoft? Hooray! Oh, Dijiba, stand up, please, both of you. So Microsoft, it's decided, you know what, we don't want to give away money. I mean, it's got billions of dollars, right? Because all of us are hooked and addicted to their products, yeah? But I think they're being very smart. Instead, they're saying, you know what, entrepreneurs, we'll give you I just paid for those products, by the way. We will give you software for 3 years free of charge. And Tarek is here today. Tarek, please stand up. Look at that. Okay, when you, in breaks, right? So Tarek is going to show you, those of us who are analog geeks, how to use that, how to use their all singing, all dancing software. But that's the kind of thing. See, entrepreneurs, we don't always need money. We need resources, right? Yeah, and these are the kinds of resources. And these are the kinds of resources that we are partnering with organizations like Microsoft and others to say, no, we don't want money, but if you can provide. And that is exactly what Microsoft is doing. So thank you so much. Okay. ECOWAS, we all, so is Africa as well. So partnerships are becoming, and you will hear more and more partnerships announced on the TEF hub, and which can benefit you, and which will benefit the entrepreneurs generally, but also entrepreneurs across in our program, but outside of that. I want to talk very quickly about research and advocacy. So, what we're doing is a drop in the ocean. It's a big drop. It's a $100 million drop, right? And over 10 years. But it's still a drop in the ocean, yeah? Imagine if there were 100 Elumelus in Africa committing $100 million. I say this every time I meet a high net worth African now. Imagine if there were 100 Tony Elumelus investing $100 million, where Africa's entrepreneurs would be today, huh? And that is, so what we're doing is literally leading by example. But we also recognize that we can do so much. We can provide the training, we can provide the platform that we have built, but the enabling environment for the entrepreneurs across Africa remains a challenge. And you, as the African entrepreneurs, are facing that challenge every day, yeah? And the foundation has made, improving that enabling environment a fundamental part of its work. And we do that through research and advocacy, and where we're leveraging the access that we have to this unique data. 2,000 of you have qualified to be on the program. Over 65,000 of you applied. They remain part of our network. We continue to engage with the entrepreneurs who were not selected. Many of you reapplied, and some of you got selected. So we have access to a unique database which provides, real insights and trends occurring across the African entrepreneurial ecosystem. In terms of the network that we have, the resources that we have as a result of that unique database is phenomenal. Through the analysis, what we are doing is producing research and advocacy reports, research reports. So one of the things that I discovered about data on African entrepreneurship is that it doesn't exist, right? or analysis of the entrepreneurial landscape in Africa, it's very limited. So the foundation, our contribution to that space is to produce, maybe 2 or 3 reports a year. First one that we produced was really generally, what are your challenges that you as entrepreneurs face? But we also asked you to give us your solutions, yeah? Because as entrepreneurs, we are not just about challenges, we're also about solutions. So if for you, Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs, it is vital that you read the reports that we are producing through the Tony Elumelu Foundation. The Unleashing Africa's Entrepreneurs, Creating an Enabling Environment, and also the second one that we produced on our cultural entrepreneurs. We do have another report in development on ICT sector. We will look at a report on women entrepreneurs. We will be doing one around the creative industries. And I don't know if they're not here yet. And we are the Bertha Center of the Cape Town University are going, that you continue to create solutions to problems, that you have ideas and have the doggedness to see them through. Where others see challenges, you continue to see opportunities, that you continue to be driven by your passion, your vision and your creativity, and a sense of adventure, because that's what being an entrepreneur is. That you create jobs, remember we have goals and targets, and that you create wealth for your families, your community, and your country and your continent. I have 5 seconds or 10 minutes or whatever. Do we have time just to show a 5-minute video? Of the 2015 entrepreneurs, we sent them a message to say, come and share your entrepreneurial journey with the 2016. So we've cut a 5-minute video, which I'd like to show you.
Hi everyone, my name is Okocha Nkem. I'm the founder of Mama Money. So Mama Money is a social enterprise that empowers poor women in rural and urban slum communities with free vocational and financial skills. Also, we provide access to finance for these poor women. The major challenges I had were getting access to finance to grow our business, and also mentorship, and the Tony Elumelu Foundation helped me to achieve this. They gave me a seed grant of $5,000 to grow our business, and also provided a mentor in my sector, that is the financial sector. I was given one of the best mentors on the platform, that is the CEO of UBA Capital, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Sane, and through our guidance, we've innovated a lot of things in Mama Money.
Joel Chero, a young model farmer from the Mount Elgon slopes of Sebei. I am also a Tony Elumelu Fellow, a beneficiary of the 2015 $100 million entrepreneurship program, where I was trained in modern business management. I was connected to mentorship, and I also attended a 2-day boot camp in Lagos, Nigeria, and proceeded to a tune of $5,000 fund my business. The $5,000 was a miracle in my life. I was able to set out the most sought after demonstration garden in Uganda, attracting visitors from all over the country, seeking knowledge on best practices in agriculture. My demonstration farm was able to attract His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, because of a model that has evolved out of an acre of land, earning up to $30,000 per annum. It has attracted a magnitude of international NGOs that are involved in supporting agriculture ventures among young people to partner with me. Because of the $5,000 from the Tony Elumelu Foundation that started my enterprise, I have secured an MOU with an international NGO worth about $70,000 to put up an entrepreneurship training center to skill youth in agribusiness, and I'm modeling it based on the Elumelu entrepreneurship program.
Je suis Mathius Lawson, nominé parmi les 1000 meilleurs jeunes entrepreneurs d'Afrique par la Fondation Tony Elumelu en 2015. Notre défi est de nous étendre dans toutes les contrées du Bénin et même au-delà des frontières béninoises avec notre géolocalisation. Et à cet effet, nous sommes à la recherche d'investisseurs pouvant nous permettre de relever justement ce défi. Je lance ainsi un appel au chairman Tony Elumelu et à tout investisseur qui regarde cette vidéo afin de pouvoir rentrer dans le capital et de contribuer à l'essor de Bénélogie. Pour ce qui est du plus grand point d'apprentissage du programme TEP, je dirais sans hésiter que c'est le management au quotidien. Ça, c'est la chose la plus importante qui nous a été apprise, en tout cas qui m'a été apprise. J'ai continué mon engagement avec la Fondation Tony Elumelu en allant vers des universités de la place, en allant rencontrer aussi des jeunes béninois qui sont dans le besoin, qui sont des porteurs de projets, à s'inscrire massivement pour au programme de la Fondation Tony Elumelu afin de leur donner les mêmes chances que j'ai eues afin qu'ils puissent aussi se lancer dans l'entrepreneuriat africain.
My name is Momar Mastal. I'm a TEEP entrepreneur from the Gambia. My company is Tropingo Foods. We're a food processing company based in Gambia. We focus on value addition in the fruit and nut industry. One of the greatest things that I learned from the TEEP program is how to structure my company and how to manage my company well. So a lot of the training that we did was geared towards administrative and entrepreneurship. These are things that if you don't have the right background knowledge in it, you can easily mismanage your company, especially a growing company. Another benefit is the alumni network. The alumni network is vast. There's 1,000 entrepreneurs from every single African country. This is a very valuable network. I stay in contact with a lot of them through the TEEP platform and through our own private messaging. This helps me learn more about different markets. Eventually we want to expand into different African markets, and we've already started the process, and a lot of TEEP entrepreneurs that I met during the journey have been a part of that. That is a great asset for my company.
Thank you very much. Remember, entrepreneurs, you are absolutely essential in the transformation of the world we live in. By creating new businesses and new markets as you are doing, you're the real change agents in your community, your country, your continent, and the world. I want to take this opportunity to really welcome you all from my heart. I cannot tell you what a great pleasure it is to see you physically, having lived with you for the last 9 months online. So you are welcome. I also want to take this opportunity to say that, you know, the foundation is run by a small and mighty team. And I'd like my foundation team to please stand up and make yourself known to everyone. Jite, Samachi, Binta, where is everybody else? Fabias, Mazi. So these are names. Where's Falared? Oh, okay. Where is he? There he is. Who I miss out? But you know, it takes a team, as you know, to run a business. So it takes this extraordinary team is behind supporting and sustaining 2,000 entrepreneurs now across Africa. Thank you very much. All this is available to you. Have fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love you all. Thank you so much.
Yes. The excitement continues. We're trending on Twitter. So I'd like to ask you all to join in the conversation using the hashtag TEF Forum 2016. Those of us who are watching virtually, please also join in the conversation. The Tony Elumelu Foundation team are ready to respond to any inquiries or questions that you have. We have a number of us here who are French speaking. We have translators, and we have devices that will enable you to follow the proceedings. Where is Bolande? We have the equipment on the left side of the hall. So please, if you like to wear one of those devices that will help you to follow proceedings in French, please, there's a gentleman who's waving at the back. So please move over or get across to that gentleman and get the device. We also have Wi-Fi for our friends in the media. So if you want the Wi-Fi password, please get across to Oge Elumelu, an intern with the Tony Elumelu Foundation. She has a little piece of notes with the Wi-Fi password for our friends from the media. Paminda gave us a sneak preview about Afri-capitalism. How many of us have heard of Afri-capitalism before? How many of us? Okay. Afri-capitalism is an economic philosophy that is propagated by our founder, Mr. Tony Elumelu, and it sort of underpins what he does on the business side of him. It is a philosophy that encourages the private sector to have long-term investment in sectors that have the capacity to transform societies. Imagine if we had many investments in the power sector. You can imagine the impact that that will make in transforming Africa. If we had so many investments in the healthcare sector, we will not, in Nigeria, be experiencing what we have come to see as medical tourism, where a number of our people go abroad to seek medical care. Now, to talk to us a little bit more about Afri-capitalism, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Somachi Chris Asoluka. She's the team lead for research in the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Mrs. Elumelu talked about female empowerment. Paminda talked about how the number of Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs have grown from 20% to over 30% in the second year. The Tony Elumelu Foundation also has its own fair share of growth and dominance in terms of the staff strength. I think Folare would be about the only guy in Tony Elumelu Foundation. So much is another Amazon from the Tony Elumelu Foundation. A round of applause for her.
Wow, before I begin, I'd just like to say how honored I am to be in the midst of so many entrepreneurs, so many African entrepreneurs, people who are doing things that so many people in the world can't dare do. So I'd like all of you to give yourselves a resounding round of applause for being here today and for leading the change that Africa so badly needs. My talk today will center around Afri-capitalism, what it is, why we all need to embrace it, how it'll take us to the future, and how all of you can become Africapitalists, like mini Tony Elumelus, doing remarkable work in your communities, in your cities, in your countries, and for our entire African region at large. Why does Africa matter? Why are we debating and discussing Africapitalism? Well, Africa is home to the world's 12% oil reserves, 40% of its gold, 80 to 90% of its chromium and platinum, 60% of the world's underutilized arable land, and vast timber resources. By 2050, we will have a $29 trillion economy in Africa. Africa's middle class is rising at an unprecedented pace. Africa's consumers are becoming more empowered, are demanding Western foreign tastes. Africa is the future. Africa is the final frontier. But why, in the midst of all this many resources, is Africa not yet the global powerhouse that we can be, that we have the capacity to be? Why are we still battling with unemployment, poverty, disease, maternal mortality, and the rest? Why haven't we fully utilized our resources? Why haven't we transformed our region and the world at large? The current paradigm is unsustainable. Yes, aid has helped. Yes, our development institutions have helped us in terms of emergency, where we need fast relief. But this trajectory is unsustainable. Development partners, no matter how well-intentioned they are, no matter how gracious they may be, cannot industrialize our continent, cannot create the sustainable change that we need, cannot take us into the 21st century. Africans need to take the lead in that revolution. Africans need to embrace this responsibility. Africans need to rise to the plate to empower our industries, empower ourselves, and take us where we need to be. At the end of this brief presentation, you would learn 3 things. Why do we need Africapitalism? What is Africapitalism even? And how can you, all of you here in this room, of 1,800 of you from 54 African countries, how can you return home and become the Africapitalists in your countries? Why do we need Africapitalism? Well, by 2025, we will have 122 million young Africans in the workforce. The current situation today has no room to employ all these young people. Thousands of young people are graduating universities with no hope, no opportunities, no employment. The situation today is only going to become even more dire in the future. Africa needs Africapitalism in order to provide for all 120 million of you young people that are going to enter our workforce by 2025. It doesn't end there. An economy based mainly on extraction cannot take us anywhere. We've been doing this for the past 50 years. As our CEO, as my boss, Pamela Vie just stated, we need a new approach to development. We cannot continue like this. Resource exports, which is what mainly African nations do, cannot provide the type of growth that we need. I'm sure a few years ago, a lot of you read the McKinsey research that said 8 of the top 10 fastest growing countries in the world are in Africa. Well, where are those countries today? A lot of them have currencies that are doing so poorly that they're having to redominate their currencies. So you see the kind of growth that we're used to on the continent is a kind of unsustainable, commodity-dependent growth. It is not the growth that employs you and I. It is not the growth that empowers our entrepreneurs. It is not the growth that utilizes our resources in a sustainable way, so that we provide for not just our generation today, but for not even our grandchildren, but for generations to come. As the MC said, I head the research arm of the foundation. So this presentation is nothing without me adding some research points into. So forgive me for this reference. But the AFDB got a paper presented to them that says the way Africa was growing from 2002 to 2007, the so-called growth boom, was only adding employment by 0.036%. That means that we'll have to grow by 28% at least each year to add just 1% to employment. Do you imagine that? I think I'll repeat that. We have to grow by a minimum of 28%. And now, mind you, in our fastest decade, the growth rate was 6%. So we have to do 28% as opposed to 6% to add just 1% to employment. Do you see that this situation is not sustainable? Do you see that we need to embrace a new way of thinking, a new way of doing business, a new way of governance, a new way of being Africans? Let's go to some case studies around the African region. How many of you here from DRC? 1, 2. Well, DRC is the second largest producer of copper in the world. Produces 942,000 tons a year. But yes, it's doing well. But do you know that DRC needs to import electricity to produce at this level? Imagine if DRC had its own electricity. Imagine the millions more copper it could be producing and generating foreign exchange to drive education, drive healthcare, drive agriculture in their country. Imagine if DRC invested in the electricity, in the power infrastructure to drive their copper industry. If with this half-dodgy electricity they're doing so well, imagine how wonderful, how prosperous they will be if they had their own locally generated electricity. You see, Africa is so blessed that we're able to manage without doing more. But then to take us to the 21st century, to cater for 122 million young people, we cannot continue to manage. We have to do something radical. We have to embrace a new philosophy. Let's go to Ghana. I like chocolates. I'm a chocolate fan. Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa in the world. But do you know that Ghana only processes 5% of this cocoa? So essentially what happens is that Ghana, supported by Cote d'Ivoire, they take their cocoa and they head to Switzerland, UK, America, where they produce Mars bars, Twix, Maltesers, and we buy it. Do you know that majority of Ghana's cocoa farmers have never tasted chocolate because they cannot afford chocolates? But they're doing the hard work of growing this cocoa. They're the ones on the farm toiling day and night. But then at the end of the day, the final commodity, the chocolate, they can't even afford it. Something needs to change. We can't continue like this. Let's go to Kenya. Kenya is the world's second largest producer of coffee. Kenya produces a lot of coffee. But in the last 2-3 years, something bad was happening to coffee. The price started going down. And while other governments were supporting their coffee farmers, shielding them from the harsh macroeconomic environment, Kenya's government did little. And so the farmers started to revolt. They started to dump coffee for more lucrative crops. Now, mind you, coffee is one of the most strategic sectors in Kenya. So if the employees in your most strategic sector is dumping the crop, what hope do you really have? How can you compete on that global arena? If you're not protecting the people that drive your economy, if you're not doing like what the United States does, what the UK does, what Canada does in a very strategic manner, if you're not doing that, if you're leaving your employees, if you're leaving your farmers to suffer, best believe they're not going to remain farmers for much longer. Let's go to my favorite country, Nigeria. Now, Nigeria spends $20 billion each year to import refined petroleum products. Nigeria is the 8th largest producer of petrol. Analysts have said that Nigeria only needs $1.2 billion to revamp its refineries to take it to the level it needs to produce more refined petrol. But then the bottlenecks, the red tape, the bureaucracy, the obstacles have refused this investment from happening. Because all of us think in such a short-term manner. We don't think of the future. We don't even think of next year, talk less of future generation. So the refineries are at a stage now where it's unable to add anything to refined goods in the country. How can we progress, my sisters and brothers? Is the situation not bad? The good news, with Africapitalism, a transformation can take place. Transformation is possible, but it requires a number of things. It requires courage, conscience, vision, and a new mindset. Not from only our business and policy leaders, but from every one of us, especially, most especially you, our young entrepreneurs. What is Africapitalism? Before we go to what Africapitalism is, I'd like to say what it's not. As the research head of the foundation, I get this question all the time. What exactly is Africapitalism? Isn't it just capitalism in Africa? You guys aren't telling us anything new. Africapitalism is not simply same old capitalism in Africa. It's not capitalism to make only Africans rich. We've gotten that. It's not racist capitalism. And it's not Africans exploiting Africans. It's something fundamentally different. Before I introduce what Africapitalism is, I'd like to go to one of my favorite quotes from the founder of the foundation. He says, "The future we want for ourselves is one of our own making." As Africans, as I said, we cannot continue to rely on not only economic profits, because economic profits are very important, but not only profits, but social good, social prosperity, social wealth in the process. And our founder has been able to showcase, illustrate, prove, exemplify that you can do those two things at the same time. You can create social good while making record high profits. One doesn't have to suffer as a result of the other. It is possible to embrace two of them. The beauty about this is a lot of you are already doing that. Our entrepreneurship outcome really has 7 main pillars. We touch on inclusive growth. Inclusive growth means that the communities in which you operate are not just there for CSR programs where you take a bag of rice, a crate of mineral. No. The communities are meant to be stakeholders in your business. It doesn't mean that you give all of them employment opportunities. It doesn't mean that you employ all of them in your workforce. But it means that you actively create opportunities to utilize and empower the local value chains. It means that you actively promote and do your business in a manner that does not harm the community in which you operate. It means that you don't just make profits and leave behind scraps for the communities. It means that they're a part of your growth strategy. They're a part of your business strategy. We have regional trade and integration. When more African countries begin to not just export their basic commodities, but export processed goods higher along the value chain, it means that we're able to trade with each other at a higher level. It means that we're able to integrate. It means that we're able to utilize our comparative advantage. It means that Ghana, instead of exporting just cocoa, would be able to export chocolates to Nigeria. It means that Nigeria, instead of having to spend $20 billion every year to import refined petroleum, it means that we can produce enough petrol in-house that we export to Ghana, Benin, Togo, Liberia, Uganda, Kenya, and the list goes on. It means that DRC becomes an electricity powerhouse. It means that DRC becomes a tremendous manufacturing base with all that copper. It means that it doesn't just rely on the 942,000 in exports, but begins to produce manufacturing commodities with that copper that they are blessed with. That's what it means. It means that we begin to create local value on the continent. We don't export our commodities for them to add value overseas, but we retain and add that value locally here. It means that we're able to employ each other, train each other, empower each other to a level where we're able to operate on the higher level of the value chain. And I keep saying value chain, and I see that many of you may or may not understand me fully, so I'll use a little point now. So the petrol value chain is such that there's exploration, right? So you explore for oil. And then you see the oil, and then you produce the oil. So you get it out the ground. And then you take it to be processed, to be refined. And then you transport it so that people are able to distribute it to different people who utilize it. And then from there, people are able to consume it. So you see the value chain of petrol: exploration, production, refining, distribution, and then consumption. So when I say value chain, that's what I mean. So when I say cocoa value chain, I mean we don't just produce cocoa and send it out, but then we process the cocoa such as chocolate. We're able to distribute that chocolate in Africa, and we're able to consume that chocolate instead of going to Ebano and spending 20,000 naira on chocolate every day. You know? And the beauty about this is many of you are already becoming Afro-capitalists. 2015 entrepreneurs who are in this picture here have gone home to do great things with the training they received from us, the seed capital. They are now true Afro-capitalists who are changing their communities. Afro-capitalism is a call to action for businesses to make decisions that will increase economic and social wealth and also better the communities and nations in which they operate. I keep emphasizing this because Afro-capitalism is not a call for you to be economic Father Christmases. No. Afro-capitalism is not charity. It's not aid. It's not philanthropy. Afro-capitalism is business. It is profit-making, but profit-making with a conscience. Profit-making that is sustainable. Profit-making that can take Africa into the 21st century. And not just even take Africa. Because right now, Africa doesn't need to be taken. We cannot afford to crawl, walk, or even run into the 21st century. We can only leapfrog. So we're not even just talking about getting into the 21st century. There's a long way to go. We need to leapfrog. And I am certain, 100% that, with 100% certainty, that Afro-capitalism is what we need. It's the tool we need to take us into this future. We did a research on our 20 Elumelu 2015 agriculture entrepreneurs, 304 of them, and they've said that they've created 15,000 casual and full-time jobs in their countries. You guys, I don't think you guys understand this. They were identified January 1st, 2015. Sorry, they applied January 1st, 2015. Identified in March 2015, came for boot camp July 2015, received the training that you receive here today and tomorrow, and then they went back to their countries and have created 15,000 casual and full-time jobs. It's incredible. If they can do it, the agricultural entrepreneurs in the room, I'm looking at you now, especially looking at you. If 300 of them can do it, I expect even more from this year. And I'm certain that you will do it. So now there's been a lot of theory. I get this a lot, so much you two talk, book. So let's come to practical now. What are Afro-capitalist entrepreneurs like you doing? We have Mavis from Botswana, who actually is in the room. Mavis, can you stand up? Is she here right now? Oh yeah, look at Mavis there. So she's an agricultural entrepreneur from last year who has a small poultry farm in Botswana. And then Mavis realized that getting chicken feed for her chicken was getting too expensive because Botswana relies on imports of chicken feed. And so she started producing chicken feed locally to reduce the price of chicken feed in her community and also to make sure that her costs stayed down. She was even profiled on CNN, so she's doing amazing things actually. But that's not even why Mavis is featured today. I found why she became an entrepreneur very interesting. She said in her community, women were unemployed, disproportionately affected by unemployment. That means that more women were more likely to be unemployed than men in her community. And so she went into business to change that. So she went into business because she saw an opportunity to make profits, one, but also an opportunity to change her community, an opportunity to create social good. So do you see how she's been able to merge those two, social wealth and economic wealth, together? To make change not only for herself and her bank account, Mavis, but for the community at large. So do you see that you don't need to sacrifice one for the other? I'm not asking you to be Father Christmas or Mother Christmas. No, there's money to be made. As PV said, there's money in Africa. There's money to be made. But while you're making that money, you can do some good. Let's go to Liberia. When many of you hear Liberia, you think Ebola. Well, one of you is doing something to change that narrative. James realized that Ebola thrives when there's waste everywhere, when hygienic practices are low. So what did he do? He has an initiative that goes around to manage waste, recycle, reuse, teach, train, so that people embody a culture of proper waste management, disciplined waste management, so that in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, we don't have a repeat of Ebola. We don't have the world warning us not to visit Liberia, but we don't have that type of circumstances. Instead, we have a new narrative about Liberia. James has won a number of awards, but that doesn't even impress us. What impresses us is the 150 young people he has employed with his initiative. What impresses us is the 10 university scholarships he has awarded to 10 single parents in the slums of Liberia. That's what impresses us. It's not the CNN, it's not the BBC. That's good, but that's not why we're here. We're here to become Afro-capitalists like James, like Mavis. Let's go to another country, South Sudan. When a lot of us hear South Sudan, we think insecurity, chaos, civil unrest, strife, militancy, name it. But then Consulate tells us that there's a new South Sudan that is emerging. In South Sudan, only 5% of women are business owners. And Consulate said, enough is enough. I won't just talk about the fact of how we need more women entrepreneurs. I'm going to become a woman entrepreneur myself so that I'm able to mentor and encourage other young women in my South Sudan country. That civil unrest is not our destination. It's merely our present. And if we come together to transform the society, to create change, then that association of South Sudan and war and turmoil will end. And then let's go to the final case study. Hamza. Hamza is from Tunisia. You know, there's now this thing that's going on in the academic world where instead of talking about Africa as a whole, they say sub-Saharan Africa so that they can remove North Africa from the African picture. But then we had an entrepreneur last year from Egypt who came and said, Elumelu, I'm excited that you chose me as an entrepreneur, yes, but I'm more excited that I'm able to meet with my African brothers and sisters. African brothers and sisters that many of us have never met. That many of us have now been socialized to even believe that are no longer our brothers and sisters. So it is important to us, it's important to me to emphasize now that the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program is not a sub-Saharan African program. It's an African program, a Pan-African program. We have entrepreneurs from all 55 countries, not only in sub-Saharan Africa, but including North Africa. Hamza is one of them. What Hamza does is very interesting. Hamza is in the future. So he's into ICT, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, all of that good stuff, all of that amazing stuff that many of us don't understand. I, for one, don't understand it. But what Hamza is doing is that he's creating labs in Tunisia such that young people are being trained in ICT, in tech, in manufacturing, so that Africa is able to leapfrog into that 21st century using ICT as a tool, leveraging ICT. ICT is a very strategic sector And so while agriculture is great, education is great, fashion is great, they can become even greater if we utilize and embed ICT in these different sectors. And that's what Hamza is doing. Hamza is teaching and training young people like him, the young 122 million who will enter the workforce by 2025. He's training them in labs in Tunisia. Now, a lot of you are impressed by the entrepreneur stories, but you're thinking, what about Earth Holdings? What gives you the right to stand there and tell us how to do business? What gives you the right to dictate how we perform business in our countries? I'm happy to say that Earth Holdings is 100% Afro-capitalist. In 1998, at a town hall meeting, our chairman and founder, Tony Elumelu, who you can see on the screen now, said to his staff, he said, today we may appear young, and people may not believe in us, but we will compel them to believe in us through our achievements, through our actions, through Afro-capitalism. So how exactly have we been Afro-capitalists? Standard Trust Bank, as Mrs. Elumelu has already introduced, was a bank that came out of Crystal Bank, a struggling bank. So what our chairman and our founder did was that he realized that the way banking was in Nigeria was unsustainable. There were too many people left out of the financial system. Too many people could not access financial services. Too many people had no bank accounts. Too many people were excluded from the way financial services were carried out in Nigeria. And so what he did was, enough is enough. We're going to enter this system, make money from this system, very important, but we're also going to create social good, create prosperity in a way that integrates and makes the financial sector more inclusive. And so what did he do? He started the zero bank account balance opening, such that you didn't need to have millions of naira to open a bank account. Anybody could open a bank account. Students could open a bank account. Market women, traders. Traders could access loans to drive their trade. Students could receive money from their parents in Lagos, even though they were in Katsina for university, because they now had bank accounts. Because you no longer needed to be a millionaire, a billionaire to own a bank account. He revolutionized banking in Nigeria. And then he said to himself, well, this is great, but this isn't enough. There's still Africa to revolutionize. And then he merged STB with UBA to form the UBA that we know, that is in 19 African countries. And I'm going to reel it out because I'm that impressed. It's in Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Congo, Brazzaville, Congo, DRC, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea, Conakry, Kenya, Liberia, Mozambique, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. They're in an African bank that has that spread, that has that coverage, that is fighting to integrate Africa. I'm not saying this because they are gracious sponsors. Obviously, it's nice for them to come in as sponsors. But I'm saying this because I believe in their philosophy of Afro-capitalism. I believe in their mission to integrate Africa, such that a business in Calabar, as PV said again, can do business with a business in Morocco. Because UBA has integrated the region, such that we're not fragmented, we're not isolated countries, but we're truly a continent, doing business with each other, trading with each other, and creating innovative ideas through collaboration with each other. Let's go to agriculture. Our Intangwa farms in Tanzania, the Tony Elumelu Foundation invested in it in 2012, is a mixed arable farming culture that delivers high potato seeds to 150,000 farmers in Tanzania. So what that does, or what that investment has done, is that it's able to create lifelong employment opportunities for these farmers who without this investment would not have the seedlings to grow the potatoes, to grow the crops that they need, to get money to send their children to school, to purchase health care, and to buy clothes for themselves. And we haven't only just stopped there in agriculture, we also have AFEX, Nigeria's pioneer commodity exchange board. What had happened is that it eliminates the middleman such that farmers have market prices for their products and are able to automatically deliver those products to retailers, consumers, wholesalers, etc. So we're revolutionizing the way farmers even do business so that they have a guaranteed market, number one, but even more importantly, they stop getting ripped off by middlemen. That is what Earth Holdings is doing through AFEX. Finally, in agribusiness, we also have Terragro in Benue State. Now, the story about Benue State was in the past was the fruit haven of Nigeria. By kid you not, if you went to a Benue village, you would see little boys kicking oranges as soccer balls because there was no market for that orange. So the farmers would harvest the orange and the children would play with it because there was no road to link the farmers to market to sell their oranges. But we've gone into there and changed the way farmers do business in that area. We've trained the farmers, we purchase from the farmers, and we treat the farmers as stakeholders in their business. Finally, the last case study I will explore in the Ares Holdings Group is Avon HMO. Less than 10% of people in Nigeria have health insurance. Avon HMO mission is to change that statistic such that it has begun to offer low-cost insurance products, such that students, market women, traders, young people like you and I, who don't have millions in bank accounts, can at least have health insurance, can at least know that even anytime we fall sick, there's an insurance that will take care of us. Can we give Ares Holdings a round of applause, please? Amazing, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Our power company in Ughelli, Transcorp. So after the privatization business in Nigeria, we took hold of Ughelli. It was a struggling power utility firm. But then as you can see from the chart, we have grown our generation capacity over the years. It doesn't mean that there are no obstacles. It doesn't mean that there are no challenges. There have been. But because we are committed to empowering Nigerians by making sure that they have affordable, accessible, reliable electricity when they need it, we have remained in this sector. In fact, we've done so well in this sector that we've even gotten President Obama's attention. We have partnered with him and committed $2.5 billion to revolutionizing the African power sector. So we're taking this from Nigeria to Africa. That is what we're doing through Transcorp Power in Ughelli. What is the role of government in all of this? Entrepreneurs can't do it on their own. Businesses can't do it on their own. We can't have a 21st century workforce or business environment without 21st century laws, regulatory and administrative frameworks. Government has a unique role to play in making sure that the enabling environment is there to empower and encourage investors such as you, my formidable class of 2016, Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs in the room, such that you have the passion to invest in your countries. Government has a unique role in that they need to make sure that doing business is easy for you, you're safe while you do business, and then it's done in a transparent manner. Investors won't come to a place where they don't even know how the laws operate. Investors won't come to a place where they're afraid that they will lose all their money and government won't even look at them. Investors won't come into such a climate. So government has a unique role to provide the conditions that investors need to be reassured to bring in their money. The environment that encourages entrepreneurs to take that risk, take that chance, and start a business. An investment climate that makes it easy to register a business, such that it doesn't take you 6 months to wait for a permit. It doesn't take you 10 years to file your tax procedures. It doesn't take you 5 months to pay for power, electricity. It doesn't take you 18 months to get a permit to use a building. These are the tiny things that add up, and these are the tiny things that only government can solve. So no matter how passionate you are about Afro-capitalism, you can't be a true Afro-capitalist if government is not, playing its role. And so that's why I'm so excited that we have a number of government officials coming tomorrow to address you. My challenge to you is that you ask them these questions. You tell them to go home and enact the policies that will encourage you and all of you to become the artist that you can be. Conclusion. Afro-capitalism builds the productive power of Africa's economies, the purchasing power of Africa's middle class, and builds the diverse and resilient economies that we need in Africa, such that when there are commodity shocks as we're having now, our currencies don't crash, our countries don't fall into recession, we lose our jobs, we battle 50% youth unemployment. No. We need to change it such that resilient, diverse economies are built by entrepreneurs and business leaders, supported by policymakers. Shortly after I started this presentation, I stated what Africapitalism was not. Then I said what it is. I'd like to end with what it will be. Africapitalism will be the manifestation of an African and of an Africa created by Africans that works well for all Africans. An Africa with a responsible private sector, responsible entrepreneurs, an enabling public sector that prioritizes the welfare of not just young people and Africans of today, but of future generations. I also said that Africa's young people are our greatest resources. I'd like to take it a step further. Africa's young people, Africa's entrepreneurs, all of you in the room today, are not just our greatest resource, but the very answer to the development challenge pervasive throughout our continent today, that aid and goodwill and foreign donors can't fix, cannot fix, have not fixed, and will not fix. Your ideas, your innovation, your resilience, and most of all, your commitment as entrepreneurs to local value creation, that is adding that refining to cocoa in-house so that we have chocolate instead of exporting just cocoa. Your resilience, your sustainability processes, your empowerment, your building of local value chains, gender fairness, and other core values. This commitment is what will transform Africa for good. The weight is heavy and the task is intimidating. But like the former Prime Minister of Benin Republic said, who was attended last year, I have not a belief but a certainty in all of you that you will transform this continent. As Governor El-Rufai said, when someone tells you something is impossible, so when people tell you that Africapitalism is too idealistic, you need to wake up from imagining the impossible. Simply tell them that impossible only takes longer, and you're on your way. We are now seeing a new style of African business leaders emerging. Leaders like you who are building, investing, growing for Africa's future. It is your efforts that will provide the jobs and the income which will have the biggest impact on tackling poverty, unemployment, disease, maternal mortality, and drive wider social progress. So, ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed entrepreneurs, honorable class of 2016 Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs, it's not easy. I invite you to transform Africa. I invite you to do what others see as somewhat impossible. I invite you to transform the world through Africapitalism. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was my pleasure, it was my honor to be here with you today.
She probably knew my plan to keep her a bit more on the stage. Thank you so much. It's time to go practical now. I must say that I've never seen a more enthused audience. We've been at it for the last couple of hours, and the attention span has not waned at all. I need for us to give ourselves a round of applause. References have been made today about the United Bank for Africa, Africa's global bank, the bank that is driving payments, integration, providing banking solutions to its teeming customers across Africa. So we've gone to UBA to bring to us our next speaker. And we're also using that to break the dominance of our female presenters so far. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to call on Dr. Yinka Adedeji. He's the head of digital banking at United Bank for Africa. And he will be talking to us on digital solutions for startups. He will talk to us about how we can leverage technology to help transform our businesses. Africa is catching up on a lot of things, but with technology, we have an opportunity to leapfrog. A round of applause once again for Yinka.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Forum Class of 2016. It's great to be part of you today. Okay. From listening to the last presenter, I want to proudly say I am Afri-capitalist. Part of the journey to being Afri-capitalist is being able to run a very sustainable business. And part of the things I will take you through are the things that you need to be conscious of when you are actually managing your business. You cannot be Afri-capitalist without running a sustainable business. A sustainable business must have a profitable bottom line. So I will take you through digital solutions that we provide across all the 19 African countries that will help you manage the two critical lines of money flow in your business, which, when you look at it, there's a column for revenue collections. There's another column for expenses. You want to make sure you collect all your revenues and timely. And all your expenses, you have very clear line of sight. And to make sure the revenue line is more than the expense line. So therefore, you need to be in charge of both. The manual catalog of income and expenses is old school. It's not cool anymore, and it's not efficient. So in terms of revenue management, because when you do business, you make sure you collect your money and you collect it very timely, with very good line of sight. When you are collecting revenue, you do not discriminate between cash or electronic payments or digital payments. So therefore, you must be very open to all. Because you are still a startup, you cannot really direct customers too much to limited means of collection. So therefore, when you are collecting through cash, you can talk to your bank to do electronic collections for you, even though customers are collecting cash. And you can also have a bank like UBA that can allow you to use all other bank branches to take cash collection for you. And you will have line of sight to electronic record of such collections. So you can always approach your bank to do that for you in terms of cash collections. The penetration of usage of cards in digital payments is growing very fast. And therefore, it's very common to see what you call point of sales in many places. The point of sales, don't think is just a box. It's actually wired to your own bank account that you recommend the money should go into strictly. I hope when you're running your business, you do not mix personal business cash flow with business cash flow. So I'm strictly talking about business cash flow. With the POS, people can make payments to your account specifically. They don't even need to know your bank account. They just need to enter insert the card and enter their PIN, and the payment is made. It guarantees you of being paid once you release the goods, and the transaction actually shows that the transaction is confirmed. In many cases, it gives you receipt after the transaction. In many cases, it gives you, the business person, the confirmation of payments as well. In this new day and age where we all do businesses online, where you can cover across the world in terms of giving access to your products and payments, you do online collection. Online collection allows payments by anybody from any part of the world to make payments to you in your own currency where you are doing business. So I can be in Ghana selling cocoa to people in Nigeria or Uganda or Kenya and be collecting my money in cedis, even though the Kenyan just paid me in shillings. The system has capability to convert to the currency that you can use to continue to do your business. There are innovations on online collections as well. I was talking to the inventor of Makiba yesterday. It's a mobile money solution. The web options that you're going to see in the future, even though I did not cover it here, we also allow payments through mobile money or QR solutions that will be popping up on online payments down the road. So you need to be very open. You need to partner with a bank that can actually enable you, or any fintech that can enable you to do collections, because you cannot discriminate against any inflow of money. For small businesses, recently, we are seeing inroad in QR collections. When you go to many businesses now, you will see QR code. That QR code has a virtual card behind it. Just display it prominently, and people will be able to make payments by really scanning the code, and it's going to be set up in such a way that it goes straight to your bank account. If you are providing services where you can actually present to your customers that you owe me this much money, it's time for you to pay. There's new introduction of email payments, which you can broadcast to a lot of your customers to make payments, particularly for those of you that are in services that either do recurrent collection from people. You can do email blasting to them. It doesn't cost you that much money. It's very inexpensive, and this is one of the new digital options that you will see in the market. There are other options, like I said. There are mobile payment options. You can also display your bank account without risk of fraud. People do a lot of instant transfer to your bank accounts now. I think in many African countries, even though some countries have not accepted instant payment transfer, but that is going to become very available very soon. I've tried to cover all the income management side of your business, which is beyond the traditional cash check writing to digital spaces, where I kind of want you to believe that this is very safe and is very fast and reliable. Not only that, also, not only that, it also enables you to have line of sight to your revenue. Because like Pamanda said, for you to attract investors, there must be very clear, verifiable revenue sources that you can show people that are interested in your businesses. As you are doing this, in startup, you cannot keep your eyes off your expenses. You need to be on top of the expenses. There are systems that are in place to manage that. The small things that you can probably overlook mistakenly are usually petty expenses, like buying fuel for your vehicle, paying utility bills or running errands for small businesses delivery. You should look for like prepaid cards, which is an expense card, to which you can actually load and be able to manage how much you actually distribute to your staff or people that work for you. And it gives you online access to see how you spent. So you don't need to spend your time actually tracking how money is spent. You know exactly who spent what. And therefore, there'll be very good record of your expenses in terms of petty payments. The largest expense you may have is usually salary payments for most of your staff, particularly those of you in services. In production, it might shift a little bit. Okay? And so therefore, there are good platforms that allow you to start small, but enables you to digitally make all your payments to your suppliers, to do your salary processing online. I think UBA is launched the UBA Direct product, which will be changing the name to UBA Business Direct. On this platform, it allows you to even use simple Excel to calculate your expenses, and then you can just upload the expenses as against the accounts that the payments should be made. By so doing, you can immediately, through the bank, send the money straight to your recipient's accounts without fear of disputing how much is being paid and very clear line of expenses. With the income line being managed digitally, with the expense lines also being managed digitally, it's very easy to see your bottom line in a digital format. Not only that, it makes your record keeping very clean. It makes investors believe in you and actually puts more money into investing in your business, which is what you were looking for to grow, to capture Africa. These are the few digital products I want to bring to your attention to manage your business. And the benefit of doing it digitally is to keep record and also be very transparent in your expenses and revenue, and makes it very easy for you to attract investors. These solutions are available across Africa if you approach any of the UVA branches that you are interested. I actually also tried to display my contact information there. It's, of course, tough to attend to all of you, all these emails from you, but all of you will get attention. And so, therefore, I believe you can become a capitalist by running a very transparent financial business using digital solutions, attracting investors by showing that you have a good grasp of financials of your business. And at this point, I want to wish you excellent learning through the session to become good Afro-capitalists. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yinka Adedeji. Okay, it's time for us to take a tea break now. We'll be breaking for 20 minutes. We will be back into the hall at exactly 11:45, which is the time for the next program. Please make your way outside quietly. Tea is served outside of the hall at various points outside of the hall. I'm sure the ushers will be there to direct you. We'll make it back at 11:45 for the next session.
With the highest GDP on the African continent and a population of over 21 million people, the city of Lagos is home to major African and international corporations. Over the past decade, this megacity has become one of the busiest commercial hubs of Africa and has seen many businessmen flourish. Africa is a home to about 617 million young people of working age, and the number is expected to rise to 1.6 billion by 2060, effectively turning Africa into the world's largest workforce. This young human capital has the potential to drive transformative growth across the continent. Harnessing the ingenuity and creativity of African entrepreneurs to create jobs and generate wealth is one solution to spur innovation and development on the continent.
I'm from Ghana. My business is in the IT sector.
And I'm a fashion designer from Nigeria.
And what we do, we replace candles and kerosene by making solar lights affordable for the people who are living in Madagascar.
The founder of Brits Fresh Foods, which is a company that aims to promote healthy lifestyle in Africa.
And I'm from Zambia, Lusaka, and I'm in the health sector.
I'm developing a solution which can help farmers manage their farms as a business.
These entrepreneurs are part of the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program, launched on the 1st of January 2015 with a decade-long commitment of $100 million to grow 10,000 African entrepreneurs. 1,000 were selected from 20,000 who applied from 52 African countries. Born, educated and made in Nigeria, Tony Elumelu is a new generation of African business leaders driving its economic transformation. Businessman, investor, entrepreneur, philanthropist and avowed Afri-capitalist, he holds the Nigeria National Honors and was recognized as one of Africa's 20 most powerful people by Forbes magazine. Chairman of United Bank of Africa, Transcorp plc, Heirs Holdings, and founder of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, he shared with us the reasons for his success and his vision for the continent.
Basically, I am a Nigerian by birth, but an African in everything I do, from my investments to my philanthropy and to everything and my essence. I believe that no one but us will develop Africa. And growing up, I've always felt that every one of us is equally as endowed as our friends and mates in other parts of the world. And I felt that it was a matter of time for us to prove this to the world. My business is cuts across geographies across Africa and also sectors in Africa. So if you bring power, financial sector, oil and gas investment, and also our investment in real estate and hospitality, then you begin to see that we don't only create wealth for our shareholders, we also have to create wealth for society.
A new Africa has now begun to emerge, a more mature continent, aware of its past, proud of its heritage, and willing to do more in pursuit of a brighter future. The last decade has been one of unprecedented socio-economic improvements across Africa. Indeed, economies are growing rapidly, and with the growth rate up to 5%, Sub-Saharan Africa is expected to be among the fastest growing regions in the coming years. And finally, by 2050, Africa's population will double to 2.4 billion.
Africa is a land of opportunities. People in Africa are so warm, embracing, friendly, and they want to progress. They want the best things in life as their counterparts in Asia and America and Europe. From my investments, there's nowhere else that yields the kind of returns on investment as what I make in Africa. And beyond me, my business partners say the same thing. Two, Africa's population is huge and rising, and the demographic structure of our population is such that you have huge consumers coming out of Africa. And the income per capita has improved. So it means you have huge effective demand on the continent of Africa. That is huge. That is big opportunity. Today, almost all have democratic government. The ease of doing business is gradually improving. Corruption is going down on the continent. And macroeconomic stability in Africa is becoming a constant. So, indeed, Africa is rising. And that is why to the 20 million entrepreneurs, I say to them, there's no better time than this moment to be and become an entrepreneur in Africa.
In October 2010, Tony Elumelu, described as a 21st century philanthropist, set up the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Through its programs and activities, the foundation seeks to institutionalize luck and create an environment where entrepreneurship can flourish in a sustainable manner.
My vision was to help empower the next generation of African leaders. Government is to set the right environment, but the private sector must take lead and take charge. Having been an entrepreneur myself, let me help to create more. That is the whole driving force behind the Tony Elumelu Foundation.
So I'm looking for people who are hardworking, who believe in, they might still be learning about being emotionally intelligent. I'm a student myself, who believe in integrity beyond just the dictionary meaning of the word, is knowing that if I give my word, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to just exceed expectations. I will blow out your mind when I'm delivering. Who are resilient and who believe in synergy, that I do not exist on my own, but there are other people within the space that I need to work with to deliver superior value. They also want people who believe in Africa.
The foundation had been doing a number of things. We had done what they call the AMIC program, where we were bringing students in business schools across the world to come and have some kind of experience in businesses, in small businesses in Africa. We've done several things. We make donations to the best students in certain disciplines in the universities.
In April 2014, Parminder Vir OBE was invited by Tony Elumelu to help structure the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program. Parminder is an award-winning film and television producer, expert in media investments and emerging markets.
When I arrived, Mr. Elumelu was thinking that we should give $10,000 as a grant. So one of my first things was also to really change the mindset. Entrepreneurs don't need grants, they need investment. They need to know that you as an investor, an angel investor, a family or a friend are taking a risk with your capital in their enterprise. Yeah? So the word seed capital investment or a non-returnable seed capital investment was introduced. Entrepreneurship is teachable and learnable. I totally believe in that. What sustained me was the phenomenal network that I built. So networks are really, really critical. Information, quality information that's available, which is selected and curated. And also, obviously, funding, yeah, and mentoring. Mentoring is absolutely critical. So I guess I set about, leveraging my own experience as an entrepreneur and as a filmmaker to see how I could transfer those skills to designing the framework for the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program. And what emerged after 10 months of doing that was the 7 pillars of TEEP.
The 7 pillars of TEEP provide a unique system of effective and intensive support for the startup. Having steered the development of a model for Pan-African, multilingual and sustainable program, Mr. Elumelu launched the Tony Entrepreneurship Program. He also declared 2015 as the year of African entrepreneurship.
My life has come, as I said, in a full circle, because today, the lucky entrepreneur I was at some point will today embark on the journey of giving back to the continent that has given so much to me, and doing it, if I may say so, at an unprecedented level. Through the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program, I am committing $100 million to support the next generation of African entrepreneurs. The program represents a decade-long commitment to support 10,000 African entrepreneurs and startups. The program is open to entrepreneurs from all 54 African countries. Over the next 10 years, our goal is to generate 1 million jobs through these 10,000 businesses and to help contribute at least $10 billion to revenues across Africa through these businesses. We're not targeting any sector. We just want people who believe in themselves, who have ideas that can develop the continent. And so that was what drove us.
To ensure transparency and fairness, the Foundation assembled an independent Pan-African selection committee, including established entrepreneurs. The Foundation developed a clearly defined selection criteria against which the applications would be evaluated, including feasibility of the business idea, market opportunity, financial understanding, scalability, leadership and entrepreneurial skills. It engaged Accenture development partners to ensure transparent application selection process, vital for the integrity and credibility of the program.
What we wanted to do was to democratize luck and give people opportunity. You have ideas that can work, ideas that can develop Africa, come forward and share the ideas.
It was a blind selection with no particular emphasis. We selected from 51 countries. So we have entrepreneurs now from 51 countries.
The announcement and telling people one, when they were giving testimonies, some had a scream when they were.
Hello, mic check 1 2. Hello, mic check 1 2. Hello, mic check 1 2.
In the supply chain from farm.
Testing microphone 1. Hello, testing mic 1 2. Hello, testing mic 1 2. Hello, testing mic 1 2. Sound engineer, you okay? Hello, testing mic 2. Mic 2. Mic number 2. Hello, testing mic number 2. Hello, testing mic number 2. Sound engineer should move on. Hello, testing mic number 3. Hello, mic check number 3. Hello, mic 4, mic 4, mic 4. Microphone check number 4. Moving over. Hello, mic 5. Hello, mic 5. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Testing microphone number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Testing microphone number 5. And you go. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5. Hello, mic number 5.